Hello, bonjour, 你好，Anya, hola，我是你的 boy CP。
Hello!
Get that garbage out of here!
What's good, everybody? This is CP, and today I'll be going back in time to take a look at the history of the NBA draft. More specifically, some of the biggest steals in the past 10 years. So without further ado, let's get it. In 2008, the San Antonio Spurs selected Goran Dragic with the 45th pick, but they didn't keep him for long as they traded his draft rights to the Phoenix Suns in exchange for Malik Hairston, aka the 48th pick of the draft. The Spurs lost this deal in lopsided fashion, as we all know the Dragon eventually became a legit starting point guard in the NBA, and even became an NBA All-Star in 2018. Meanwhile, Hairston went on to play 2 uneventful seasons for the San Antonio Spurs before going overseas for good. Aside from Goran Dragic, DeAndre Jordan turned out to be one of the biggest steals of the 2008 NBA draft. The Los Angeles Clippers took him 35th overall in the second round, and since then Jordan has amazed us for years with his dunks and finishing ability around the basket. To this day, he is still one of the best rim protectors in the NBA. Many people may not know, but the Seattle Supersonics had 3 opportunities to select Jordan in the 2008 draft. They used the 4th overall pick on Russell Westbrook, the 24th pick on Serge Ibaka, and the 32nd pick on Walter Sharp. Had they used the 32nd pick on DeAndre Jordan, one could imagine how good Oklahoma City might have been before Kevin Durant left. Although Stephen Curry was taken 7th overall in the 2009 NBA draft, he would have likely been a top 2 pick in many redrafts. Looking back, it must be a really tough pill for many Minnesota Timberwolves fans to swallow, as their team passed up on Curry not once, but twice. They took Ricky Rubio 5th overall and Johnny Flynn 6th overall, letting Curry drop to number 7. Even though the OKC Thunder did good taking James Harden 3rd overall that year, it still makes us wonder what could have been if they had Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, and DeAndre Jordan all on the same team. But overall, the Memphis Grizzlies probably missed out the most on this draft, as they left James Harden and Steph Curry on the board to take Hasheem Thabeet 2nd overall. The 2010 NBA draft wasn't particularly deep, but the Utah Jazz found gold at the number 9 position. They were able to take Gordon Hayward with their 9th overall pick that year. Once again, the Minnesota Timberwolves dropped the ball as they took Wesley Johnson with the 4th overall pick that year. Having Gordon Hayward join a player like Kevin Love might have turned out to be something special in Minnesota. Paul George was another huge steal at the 2010 NBA draft. The Indiana Pacers were able to select him 10th overall that year. Luckily for the NBA, the Golden State Warriors didn't take Paul George with their 6th overall pick. Instead, they elected to take Epke Udoh instead. In hindsight, George should have been a top 5 pick in this draft and could have easily gone 1st overall to the Washington Wizards. The 2011 NBA draft was full of steals, and the Golden State Warriors found one at number 11. They were able to draft Klay Thompson from Washington State to help them assemble one of the greatest teams of all time. The Minnesota Timberwolves missed out once again. They had the 2nd overall pick and used it on Derrick Williams. To be fair, Thompson might have been a reach at number 2, but they could have easily traded down to take him. It's just unfortunate to see Minnesota miss out on Steph Curry, Gordon Hayward, Paul George, and Klay Thompson in 3 consecutive drafts. Kawhi Leonard was one of the biggest draft day steals of all time. The Indiana Pacers drafted him 15th overall in 2011, but obviously didn't know what they had in him. As a result, they made one of the worst trades in franchise history. On draft night, the Pacers traded Leonard's draft rights along with Erzim Lorbeck and Davis Bertans in exchange for George Hill. Had the Pacers kept Kawhi and had him play alongside Paul George, they might have been one of the most dominant teams in the NBA. It's amazing to see how Jimmy Butler lasted 29 picks before getting selected 30th overall by the Chicago Bulls in 2011. The San Antonio Spurs just missed Butler at 29 as they selected Corey Joseph with their pick instead. Meanwhile, the OKC Thunder might have assembled a dynasty had they selected Jimmy Butler with their 24th pick instead of Reggie Jackson. Isaiah Thomas was another steal of the 2011 draft. He was the last player selected, 60th overall by the Sacramento Kings. It's fair to say that his size was a concern, but Thomas has worked his way into an amazing NBA career. In many redrafts, Thomas would probably go somewhere in the top 5, possibly to a team like the Toronto Raptors or ironically the Cleveland Cavaliers. The 2012 NBA draft wasn't very deep, but they did have some nice players in the first round, including Anthony Davis, Bradley Beal, Andre Drummond, and Damian Lillard. Aside from that, there weren't many elite players drafted outside of the top 10, but the Golden State Warriors were able to find a franchise player in the second round, taking Draymond Green 35th overall. No one expected Draymond to be this good, but in many redrafts he would probably be taken in the top 5. Looking back, the Cleveland Cavaliers had 4 picks in the top 34 and 2 consecutive picks at 33 and 34, but still passed on Green. The Boston Celtics also had 2 picks in the first round but elected to take Jared Sullinger and Fab Melo instead. Considering that they took Harrison Barnes 7th overall and Festus Ezeli 30th overall, the Warriors outdid themselves as well, as Draymond Green turned out to be the best player taken by them in this draft. The 2013 NBA draft might go down as one of the weakest in recent memory, but it was a franchise-changing one for the Milwaukee Bucks. They were able to find a generational player in Giannis Antetokounmpo 15th overall. Looking back, the Greek Freak should have been selected 1st overall by the Cleveland Cavaliers and could have easily played with LeBron upon his return to Cleveland. Rudy Gobert was another huge steal of the 2013 NBA draft. Despite selecting him 27th overall, the Denver Nuggets traded him to the Utah Jazz on draft night. Gobert has since developed into one of the best defensive centers in the NBA and looks to be a perennial contender to win the Defensive Player of the Year award. So that's a look at some of the biggest NBA draft steals of the past decade. What do you think of this list? Let me know in the comments section below, and I'll see everybody next time.